Bhopal and a Babylon fall. They hit Bhopal and a Babylon fall.
Yes, Antigua and Barbuda, we're back. It's another episode of Who's on the Go Mike podcast. Thank you for all those who were asking about us, whether we were like a one season wonder or a 3 month wonder, and if we would actually be back as we promised, because I believe it was July 15th was our last episode where we said we are gonna take the hiatus because we couldn't compete with the festivities, you know, the nakedness. So we left the nakedness to do what they wanted to do, and then we think that they all wink up their bottoms in the streets of St. John's to their heart's content. So we're back. We couldn't compete with asses.
Serious business now.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to have you to be back on, and to have you realize that that we will be here. There's the number one fan of Who's on the Go, right? Renee Bratwitt. Hey Renee, how you doing? I think she's in America somewhere now. I never know. I've never met her, but just by the way she talk, and then she says she was a child of the 50s and so on.
Okay.
I just feel the vibe, you know.
Yes.
So Renee, you're the number one fan. Nobody can touch you. And just today she was asking, "Hey Via, when are you guys gonna start up the podcast again?" I say, "You know, boy, Renee, boy, you really a big fan, boy. You psychic, boy. You smell, you smell good. Just hours away. Renee, smell go, my coming in, you know. So I tell you, must be psychic. We starting up at 2. We're a little late, Renee, today because I had some heavy downpours in the part of the island I live. See, them downpours. It was just like it wasn't for hours, but what came in the matter of 20 minutes, it was heavy and hard. So I had to go down the road and get Nedwell. I had to put my kids in the back of the car and all that, cover up their head and all that. Just, oh God, boy, I'm no I go late, boy. It's not every week we make the attempt to start at 2 sharp.
That's right.
You know?
Yep.
And for whatever reason, something, I think we must have begun at sharp about 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
You know,
Yep,
but
yep.
the attempt is made to always start at 2, and something is always coming. The rain put us off a little bit today. But yeah, we're here. So we just want to send it over to my co-host Lionel Nedwell, and he say a few things, and then we're going to the issue. First of all, we're going to talk about the Alpha Nero, but I think that's on everybody's mind and everybody's tongue now. We don't want to start off with Alpha Nero. Let us just go generally into the economy of Antigua and Barbuda. That's what I believe we should start off with, really. And then we'll talk about whatever else come up on our mind. We really don't even have a list, right? This show is not really one to shape the argument off air. It's really that it's spontaneous, and that's why I believe people should tune in. We don't have no idea what we may be talking about, except for a minute or two before the show starts.
That's right.
You know,
it's not planned. We just come and whatever is going on. Yeah, we speak.
We just do our thing.
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back with you. Very good to be back with you. I hope you had enjoyed the festivities of the past festival, and now we are back to some serious business, because as my host just told you that there's so many things that we need to touch in terms of that even the Alpha Nero takes back seat. So you keep on listening, and we're here to just fill you in on what's going on and to encourage you to do the right thing, and to help yourself, because you have to help yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that you have to do. Politician thrives on people who don't even care about themselves, who just say, look, leave it into the hands of the politician. Nothing works like that. Into the hands of the politicians these days are just benefiting the politician, not you. For sure, maybe in the old time days you leave it in the hands of the politician because the man was fighting mass, and all that, so you took priority. But in these times, you're no priority for these politicians, my friend. It's all about friend, family, and all that good stuff, and help themselves, but it's not about you. So we are here to encourage you to start think for yourself, start do the things that will help you to provide for yourself and benefit you down the road, and then just stop depending on these guys who thrive on divide and conquer and all these nonsense. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it was just so great to be back with you, and you keep on listening.
Yeah. I'd like to delve in first of all to our economic situation in Antigua and Barbuda. And it's not something that has to be talked about in any specificity, not we're going deep into it. But I will start this podcast, our first one here, September, for the fall season. And my dad had a friend, a family friend, a white man by the name of Ron Onashek. He's passed, he's deceased since about 2005. And he was one of those guys who would bring investors into Antigua. He made small investments in Antigua and so on, and just came over like 30 something years to really get to know Antigua. My dad probably met him overseas somewhere, I don't even know where. But he was such an open guy, open to new cultures, anything. He would come and speak to anybody. He was not looking down on anybody. So Rob Onashek would bring in investors and so on, people that he met and wanted to do business or try to do business in Antigua. And over a period of time, I remember I came home 2002, thereabouts. And before I came, I think, or just after I came, we were having a conversation with Rob. And Rob, who's been in Antigua for a good 30 years or so, back and forth and travel and so on, and get to know the people and the politicians and the businessmen and so on. He made one observation as somebody looking outside, looking in on how our politics, our economics is run. He said, Via, I never understand how Antiguan politicians rob Peter to pay Paul. He said that to me, and I really didn't understand what he was saying at that point in time. But when you look at what has happened to Social Security, in that the politicians decided they don't have no money, and politicians throughout the world never have any money. The budget is never big enough. They're always looking for money to do something. They don't have any money, so who has money? Oh, Social Security has money. People's money that is supposed to be put aside for them in their latter years, in their retirement. Okay, so money there. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take the money and we're going to build West Bus Station or whatever nonsense they went to do with the money. So we build West Bus Station. You're getting revenues from West Bus Station, and people are paying and all that stuff, and vendors and all this stuff, and the economic avenue is supposed to increase whatever yield you have in the public purse. The sensible thing, wouldn't it be to put the money back that you took? I'm not gonna say steal as yet. I don't want to say thief, because somebody say me get too hot sometimes. You took the money out, people's money. How many years ago? This is nearly 30 years now, right?
It looks that way.
And the sensible thing to me was like, you see an uptick in your revenues, put the money back in Social Security, because it's not your money.
Put it back where you took it.
If we took the money, if I took Nedwell's money without his permission, he could go to the police and accuse me of theft. Right? If the politicians do it, they say they're making an investment with your money.
That's right.
But hold on, every month the people are having a hard time getting their Social Security checks. Now, what I realize, right, when you rob Peter to pay Paul, so you took that money to build the West Bus Station. The people, the pensioners on Social Security are having a hard time at the end of the month to see their money, what is supposed to be there for theirs.
That's right.
So they are not satisfied. So now, 30 years ago, or thereabouts, you took that money to renovate and to rebuild West Bus Station. West Bus Station needs to be renovated again. So they're not happy. So I just said, Nedra, you notice how this thing goes? Way we practice our economics in Antigua and Barbuda, nobody is satisfied for any long period of time now. Nobody.
No, it's not healthy. Serious.
Nobody's satisfied because they never pay off anything. Or okay, this is what we owe that person. Let us deal with that.
Get that out
You notice how the matter with Half Moon Bay is over 20 years that has been going on. And the workers up there. When I came, I remember they were complaining about the workers were not paid their severance.
That's right.
Right? And they were compulsory acquired the land and supposed to sell it to someone. That fell through on the Labour Party, fell through on the UPP. And Ms. Carrad, as a lawyer, I came home to practice 2002 August. And I see this elderly white lady in court all the time. Do you know who she was? I always smile at you, and I don't think I ever, in the 10 or so, 15 years or so, she was in court back and forth. Just think up to about 2 years before COVID is the last time I think I saw her. Miss Gerard is in the court all the time. So therefore, you say, okay, this is one of them, what are them vexatious litigants? You didn't know who she was first, and then
No,
somebody said,
but
oh,
yeah.
that's Natalie Gerard and all that
That's
stuff.
right.
And then she gets to know, see the faces. She don't know you, but
Yeah.
she waved because she see you in court all the time.
That's right. Acquainted.
You are there and you have this money. You said you got $50 million from the president of Ukraine when he had some deal, and you got this bumper crop about 2015, 2016.
Somewhere
Instead of
around
using that to pay off the loan, no, we're going to take that money and do something else with it. Although you have Social Security, although you have Natalie Gerard halfway, that you messed up in bumbled the whole matter.
Totally
You're
messed
never
up.
satisfied, and when money
No.
come in, you
Paying
catch
off
your hand,
debt.
pay that off, so you
Paying
never
off
get in the
debt.
head. No.
Paying off debt.
You have, we call it again now, the CIP, and you brag and bold, you
How
know,
much
we,
money
$1
you
billion,
made.
we make $1 billion and
And
selling
still-
passport.
and
And today,
Social
Social
still not getting
Security,
money
people having a hard time getting their pensions.
don't get back their money yet.
No.
Just imagine.
That don't make no sense.
Eh?
You have Miss Gerard, you know pay that back. All kind of
I
other
know,
bills I
that's
know they
right.
have and debts they have.
That's
Them
right.
not pay that.
Not being paid back.
You know, so that is what I like to say about the economic powerhouse, the problem that we have and the way to solve it. You see what these people have done to this country, and we're not even just saying the Labour Party, but even the UPP. That when they got in here, they did pay some bills. You know, I know
They did.
one of the
They
bills
did
that they
pay
did
the
pay
bills.
was the legal bill, because when I was converting to Bahamas for 6 months, boy, and they hold me down in the Bahamas, boy, tell me, "Well, Mr. Bird,
The money come.
we don't know about you, getting through this program." So why not? Well, Antigua hasn't paid you how many years.
The money come in.
But have you ever make so much a call back home and plead with them? And you know what, Neddy?
Mhm.
They never paid it when I was there.
You see, yes.
Then they maybe even I make call, even my father may tell you call you, and Eric call the Attorney General, and they
You
even
need to
say they're going to
up,
pay
yes.
something, not. They pay them.
Yeah, man.
Pay a damn thing.
Ah.
Boy, the last minute I tell them, so
So
what I
really-
need from I'm attached to a chambers, so I'm going to, we want me to do, have them write a letter, say that I attended the chambers and did my
And so
legal
forth.
experience. Mr. Bird, you remember when you started in September and they gave that letter
Say
as goodwill that they're going to pay the $50,000 just to start up
Was never
as a good
paid.
thing? Well, we have never seen that
Not even a
$50,000.
penny of it.
So I said, oh shit. Hey, I was down on, it's called West Bay Street, right? In
That's
Nassau,
right.
Bahamas, right?
Uh-huh.
And boy, I mean, even know how me get to because usually I take the bus to get up to the Eugene Push campus from my home.
Okay.
And then I take from my home, I know it from that other end of town to get the thing. Me didn't even know what bus me take, but I say, wait, this is my last weekend in the Bahamas, and me left here. What am I gonna do?
Look,
Boy,
this
me
already
even know,
dead.
boy, me walk across
This
path,
already-
climb over people fence, catch a bus,
Look,
take a taxi,
yeah.
swim over a moat, and
So
jump
that
down
thing-
and reach up to the dean of the camp. He's a Jamaican guy. And I tell him, listen, you know about Antigua, how them they
Wow.
for them they build a
And
owner.
this is-
I was 11 years old when I left Antigua. So me didn't even pay taxes down there, much less vote. I'm going home and I'll be paying them. But I don't know who owe who, what, or when.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Well,
there got to be a better way than to really contact me as the nephew of the Prime Minister or
That's
my
right.
father's Papa Bird grandson.
Yeah, yeah.
Some way y'all can contact some ambassador, some Minister of Finance to
That's
find out
right.
what's going on.
Yeah,
I
understand,
think
and
they
get
kind of
your
hit me.
money.
The registrar kind of hitting me hard, basically saying, holding me to ransom. I might even get out of here. Boy, the man was so good. God bless him. If he's alive or if he's dead, God bless him.
Okay.
Because the man say, I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Burke. You see me now, I'm sweating up.
Oh, yeah,
You're
man.
going to jump over a river and climb on a tunnel and take
Look,
how much a buck.
be a
You
while,
didn't
yo.
even know where you're going to. I
Okay,
never took
then.
you from that end of town.
Oh, boy.
Boy, the man say, you know what, Mr. Bird, you have a point. But you're going to get through. But
Nobody else.
the rest, tell the rest of the Antiguans who intend to come to Bahamas, the Eugene Depression, and that's it.
Nobody else.
They know what you not. beg and plead. I'm going to see you really do an obstacle course
Oh,
today.
yes, so,
You get a blind. You want to
Yes.
get a blind. So I'm just saying that to say,
yeah.
man, our economic, the way we handle our affairs, it's so medieval. It's so
That's right,
primitive.
that's right.
It's so
That's
not
true.
necessary. It's so
That's
not
true,
ready for
right.
prime time.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
You guys say anything about it?
Of course, first of all, to say tourism is our main industry, really, that's a setback.
Mhm.
Because tourism now is not like what it used to be.
Yeah.
We have all this amount of land, and you're saying that we could not even develop a proper agriculture that would benefit Antigua.
Yeah.
Who is running this country? This is what I'm saying. You have a minister of agriculture and think, what is he thinking or her thinking about? The whole thing is that it's like these guys don't care. You know, they have taxpayers' money to throw around, and they throw it around any old way, and that's what it is.
And teeth it.
Well, you don't know how that goes. That's part of the any
creatively rich
part
ourselves, you
of
know
the
that.
any old way.
That's how the sun set up.
Well, he did say that. He did say that, so we cannot deny that that's what's going on at this
Mhm.
point in time. But as I said, there's so many other ways that we can make money in this country,
Mhm.
and they're not even looking down that road. You know, the point is, I remember old times, Papa Bird and his entourage go out to Antigua and they come back and they say, hey, this is what we got. Pap, and they, these things don't happen these days. It's like we don't get nothing. Look at the drainage here. We are paying taxes, endless taxes, and have to clean your drain in front of you. You wake up in the morning, you cleaning your own drain,
Yeah.
and that's a public gutter, that's a public stuff. But you cleaning it? What nonsense is that? And no matter how you speak, who do you go to? You have nobody to go to. Because when you go and you sit down and you say, look, this is the problem, yeah, we look into it, and that's it. And it's right there.
Boy, that's the
Right
kiss.
there.
That's the kiss of death.
That's it. That's it.
We will look into it.
That's right.
When
You
Auntie
look
can
into
tell you
it.
we will look into it, you know.
Oh, no, just no. Just
You know
no,
that
that's
gone
right.
through one ear
No, that's
and gone
right.
out the next.
Yeah, so it's sickening. It's sickening to know that you hired these guys on election, but you see again, where I said there's a terminology that I think that is spoiling this thing,
Mhm.
because on election day, let's say just before election, you come to me with your resume and you say that you can handle the job.
Mhm.
That's what you said. I can do the job. I can do the job. But then election day, when you go and mark your X and say, okay, give this one the job.
Yeah.
Right after the job comes out of it, is the win. They stop saying about job now, is the win. You understand?
Yeah.
And if I win something, it's actually mine. Now, if we had continued saying they got the job, they would have had a job description.
Mhm.
But that's not needed because it's win the win. So they just
And
show
they're
up.
set. They're set. They're good to go.
You better believe that.
To me,
Yeah.
when you elect a politician, Antigua is a license to do foolishness.
Yep.
I have
It
the right.
is.
I have arrived now. You know, like when back in the day when Bionic Man crashed his shuttle,
Yes,
and come down, we can rebuild him.
That's right. that's
Dumber,
right.
more idiotic,
Very much so.
be a face when you thief your money.
yeah,
you
right,
know,
that's
and we
right.
have an Antiguan. We can build the Antiguan politician.
Yeah, man. We just, well, I tell you. So, this is what I was saying to the people. We have to get sensible people. Look at the situation in Antigua right now. Things are going up into the supermarkets and other places that they sell things rapidly. You tell me when last your wage went up. If you're getting Social Security, they're not even thinking of upgrade your Social Security so you can manage what's going on in the supermarket. I remember earlier this year, a bottle of cooking oil that I see now for $11 was close to $6. Now it's $11.00.
You know what hit me? Cream of
Eh?
wheat.
Oh boy! Oh, that gone
Oh,
crazy
Jesus,
there.
boy. Oh, wait.
No, it's like they want people to stop eating cream of wheat.
Yeah.
I don't even look right now
Listen,
at it.
boy, it's 20. Listen, the last time I
Yeah.
saw the big package is 20.90
Yeah,
before I
20,
went away. But the
20.
small one is what I had to buy this week because I'm them boys.
Yeah,
I
high
just,
teens.
Chase only has a small one. Usually I get the big ones up
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't really see it around too much.
Uh-huh.
And boy, they put some numbers on that. That
Me
was
tell you,
before
this one like high
before
teens.
COVID and all that stuff. That was like 12.
Yeah. Down
During
in that
COVID, it
11
went
something.
16.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
No, Ukraine war last year, it go
Gone.
16, 17, 18, and before I went away, July, it was
20, and
2098.
now it's probably a little over.
And
20.
now they say that the Russian and them are licked down
So
more
it
than
might be
the grain silos and
it
so
might
on.
be 23
I think it might be,
plus now.
yeah, me boy,
You
me,
think
me have to count the grain and them, you know?
it's like they want people to stop eating cream of it. But but I'm saying this. We said that to say this.
Mhm.
Just imagine that situation and your salary or whatever money your contribution coming to you
Mhm.
remains the same. How you manage? You
How
can't
are
manage.
how are you
You
surviving?
cannot manage there.
But one of the things I say with the economy in Antigua and Barbuda, right?
Yeah.
And what are we using as the yardstick to say that Antigua is developing among a part
Yardstick?
to benefit the poor in our community? Because what I'm
Yardstick?
hearing them talking about yardstick is, oh, can it go by 4% and 5% and say, what does that have to do with me?
No,
Because
no.
I grew up in America since the age of 11.
That's right.
And I actually, the first place I lived in New York was actually down at Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then I moved up to 12th Street near
Okay.
Broadway. Then I
Okay.
moved to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I used to always watch the news. I used to see how they had the arrow go up and the
That's
Wall
right.
Street has grown by 50,
The-
60%,
I hear
and
you.
600 points,
Yeah.
70 points. I'm going to say, Mommy, so
Wha-
we
wha-
doing well
wha-
now?
wha- wha-
That has nothing to do with that. That is to show rich people how much the investments are growing.
That's right.
We don't have any
Nothing
business
to
with
do.
that. So where the
Nothing to do with
4% and the 5%, what can a poor person say? Ooh, you know what
Yeah,
happened?
man, that-
Our
that-
economy go by 4 or 5% this year.
I am going to
How is that
benefit.
affecting
Doesn't
them?
benefit him one bit.
We need a different yardstick to say that Antigua is progressing for all of us, right?
Yep,
How
I
are
would
people
agree.
eating? How are people
I would agree.
sending their children to school,
I would agree.
right? What do they eat?
Mhm.
What is the nutritional content of what they have to eat?
Mhm.
Is it Nancy Glory people eating morning, noon, and night?
Yeah.
Huh? Is it crackers and cheese? If they have,
Something
but
like
even
that.
sometimes dry crackers.
Something like
What
that.
is it? How are they surviving?
what you
I
have is
want a
what you
different.
have
When
to
they
eat.
have the Ministry of Planning and Statistics, I would like them to go out and do statistics, and not about how the economy was growing,
Uh-huh.
but how the people were eating,
That's right.
how the people were selling their school,
That's what it's all
the
about.
availability of work, what
Yeah.
type of pay they're getting for the work they
Mhm,
get. Are they getting work, but then they're still the
being underpaid.
it's on being underpaid?
You know?
That
It's
is what I
real.
think that we need to have in Antigua and Barbuda.
Um,
Why would a politician want that?
No, they don't
Because
want
that
none
will
of
show that we have not progressed very
That's right.
well where poor people are concerned.
If
So
progress
continue to
is
show
on.
the 5% and the 6% for rich people.
Yeah,
But that is not affecting the poor
No,
people. That is not
no.
affecting their lives in a
No.
positive way.
not at all.
You know?
Not at all. That's so true, yeah. Buddy, I want to say hello to my friend Andy there. Sort of missed you today. How are you doing, Andy? I hope that you're listening. Yeah. We came on a little late there because of the rain. I don't know if you heard. We're speaking about it. We had some
Yeah, we
serious
apologize
rain.
for that.
And we apologize, but it will be quite nice hearing from you. You know, we spoke yesterday about things that you want to talk about, so
Mhm.
here's the opportunity to do.
Yeah,
whenever
Loftus
you're
telling
ready.
us the other kind of low. But
That's so true.
yeah, we
Yeah.
tune it up. Tell us how that sound, Lofty.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's sort of a sickening way to
Mhm.
see how these guys decide to handle people daily lives. We put our trust and confidence in them to be the administrator of our living, and this is not a living at all there.
Mhm.
This is just a horrible situation of how Antigua people are going through life at this point in time.
Mhm.
So again, you know, this is why I'm asking the people to just, you know, stay with us and listen to what we have to say, because we're giving you the true scoop. We are letting you know what's going on, one way or the next. We are not twisting it, not turning it, we are not spinning it. We are just telling you what's going on, and this is what's going on in Antigua. And if you tell me you are not having a hard time into the supermarket at this point in time, well, maybe you know where to go and find them.
Yeah, they sound better now, right?
Yes,
Hearing it clear?
much better,
Okay, good.
yes.
Yeah, we're just getting the settings back, guys. Bear with us. It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah, just about.
6 a month and a half since here. So you have to
Yeah,
get
just about.
oriented with the equipment again. But that should solve the audio
I want to
issue.
believe that it sounds a little.
I want to mention the economy again because we've had successive prime ministers and all of them brag about how well they're doing, better than the previous one. And every administration, every government, and people will brag about Lester Byrne and the tourism industry and
that's
all
right.
that stuff. To me,
Mhm.
the most important period where we progressed was leading up to associated statehood in
Okay,
1967.
around that time.
When you look
Right.
back on what had happened, and the reason why I'm saying that that administration, even though it was pre-associated statehood, I don't even know what the legislative council, I don't think they call it parliament in India. I think it's legislative council or something like that. I think it was the
Okay.
chief minister. It's like what Montserrat used, the
Yeah,
chief
chief
minister. It wasn't the
minister.
premier at that
No,
point.
no,
That
no,
was way
no.
before that.
Yeah.
But I do believe the two successive years before 1967, 65, 66, and eventually 67 were the best years for two facts. In order to get associated statehood, Antigua had to prove to our colonial masters that we could balance our budget 2 years in succession. Meaning that Antigua was not in the red. That was the last time. That's the last time.
We saw blue.
Yeah,
Or
that's the
black.
last time we saw blue. And because we managed our finances so well back then, that is why we were able to own 85% of all syndicate lands in Antigua and Barbuda. Because the story is told well that my grandfather, on a handshake of Moody Stewart, was able to get a loan of just under £6 million sterling the next day. That wasn't because the economy was in the red. That was because he knew
Right.
he could get it.
Yes,
Because he
yes.
was the one that had to
Yes, he was
probably
doing
pull out here, pull out here and go grey to make certain he balanced the budget to get associated
order to
statehood,
get that.
and he knew that a bank would take the risk on a small poor country
That's right.
that had its finances in order.
That's right. Finances in order.
Lester Bird
Awesome.
can't brag about that. Baldwin Spencer can't brag about that. Gaston Brown, who bragged about the administration, they have raised 1 billion and even more. God knows how much billions they
I
raised.
don't even- hey,
Because they don't really give a good accounting. However amount of billions they raised, they have not been able to balance the budget,
just imagine.
or even talk about national debt, or even forget all of that. Just put back the money that you took out of Social Security, pay the people their money. That is all I would like to tell them. I'm giving a special message to the Prime Minister or those in power, the powers that be. I came in on the 31st of August, Thursday before last. I was up at the airport and when the customs official come to me. He said, boy, this government, man, listen, man, me a young man and me want to make progress and want to do things to myself, boy. I'm more, I'm a back pay. I said, what back pay they have for you? I said, boy, me not even talk about the recent one. Me just talk about up to 2019. I want the back pay for that. I said, young man, this man even think he hit 30 years yet. You understand? The man probably want to build a house, buy a
What
new
thing-
car,
he want
send
to
the picnic to
things.
school,
He
start a
want to
little
things.
business. He want to advance himself. You would think
I
everybody
want to
want to go bank and they cut off your head and own
understand
your life
the
until the man walk with a cane?
You
The
understand?
man is owed money. And to me, if a government cannot pay people their money in a reasonable time, you should not be employing more people. Because at the end of the day, people who work without getting paid, you're called a slave.
That's right.
And there should
That's
be
what
a
it is.
stigma in our society for working for nothing. You understand? 'Cause what we came out of. For hundreds of years, our ancestors worked in Antigua and Barbuda and didn't receive a
Cap.
penny.
Not a car.
So why the hell should the government that broke us away from all of that and said that the labor movement and the trades and all of this nonsense
put us through this?
put us through this?
Same
I can understand if you had a different administration, but this is supposed to be a labor administration, and the what do you call it? The people's flag is deepest red and all of that crap. And look what happened now.
More crap.
More crap. Go ahead, Neddy man.
But this is what people are actually going through at this place. At this point in time, it's like no one cares where. Nothing is running well in the country at this particular time.
Mm.
You understand? And more so the finances of people are depleting. And, it's like nobody cares. There are no ears listening. The same thing tomorrow, just like yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening.
Same old, same old.
Nobody trying to fix nothing. Where you drop it up and them foolishness.
Yeah.
This is not how you do. You plan. You have to plan and have projection and so forth and so forth. This is not happening in Antigua. It's just like a bunch of scallywags just and they're in charge. Wait, no, these are no intellectuals, my brother.
Yeah.
I'm serious at this point in time. These guys are not operating like no intellectuals. They
Mhm.
just, they're just there, and they show up, and that's it.
And gyrate and say a few words, a catchphrases, and the people then jump on them and
That's right.
act like if something gonna happen,
And
something good gonna happen. Better
some-
must come because he said something.
Give them thumbs up and that's it.
Nedi, there's a thing I like to raise it you, right? And when you talk about the economy and the progress that has been made in our society, and the way I feel about it is that a significant amount of our society is not progressing.
That's right.
There are those who
Majority.
are well here with the politician. There are those who are businessmen and maybe to get to sway the politicians and get
favors.
their ears and know how to bribe them and to give them the kicks back.
Favorites.
But you have to say, well, I will have to say that the majority of Antigua and Barbuda are displeased. But you wonder that
Absolutely.
displeasure plays out when elections come. Because a government that has not really performed any miracles but for selling passports. They bragged about that they could get the investors to come into Antigua and Barbuda. And that is another catchphrase that I just want to hear the bullshit stop in Antigua and Barbuda about investors that want to invest. I remember UBB when they came in, they said they had all the investors lined up at some point in somewhere, and they had a list of all this bullshit. And the Labour Party always talk about how they're so great with investors.
Yeah.
But what about
Nothing
Alan
happened.
Stanford? You remember?
Yeah.
And Gaston
Yeah,
and
I forget
Malvin
them.
get their $200,000. Come and get you an additional $200,000. And you see Gaston and Malvin, they're like two little dog.
Yeah,
And they so
yeah.
wait for get on bone in their mouth.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man.
And
How
you
sick.
just come to see who are these investors. Stanford was a crook. He always was. You did not want to know that he was a crook because he was kicked out of Montserrat. The British didn't want him there. Did you ever ask the British? But you saw the
No.
money, and well, we can let him in here, and
Open
everything,
invitation.
blase, everything is good. Let
Open
the good times
invitation.
roll.
That's right.
Labour never had. They talk about red is bread, but red is a Ponzi scheme.
That's right.
The
So
Lester
yes.
Bird administration. It was based on Alan Standard finding work for people, not the Labour Party. It was a Ponzi scheme. People were defrauded. Some of that money, Gaston and Mulvin got some of that money. Huh, Come, Gaston, Mulvin, come and get your additional $200,000. Watching like a two little dog, one little poodle, and that's a way in the audience to get their money.
That's right. That's right. They were called.
Foolishness, boy.
They were called.
Foolishness.
You said Ponzi scheme.
Mhm.
So when you look at Social Security, what is that? If you're taking monies now
Yeah.
that you're getting from the new contributors
Mhm.
to pay the old what is that? Because nothing left for them, you know.
Nothing left for
It's
them.
going to be the new contributors' money going pay their. Is not that the same thing?
Yep.
You take his money to do not under the same Ponzi scheme.
Yeah,
What
but
is
it's
it?
time to go to jail, but our own.
Oh,
yeah, in
right.
America, he goes to jail for
Yes,
that. In
that's
Antigua,
it. No, Scotch
that
free.
is the supporters call them red is bread. They provided bread by ripping off Social Security and medical benefit.
Help me, Pat.
You understand?
That's
and
right.
they're supposed to be considered stewards, great stewards of the economical activities in Antigua, and they know
Anything can go-
finance.
Anything can go like that.
That's the mentality of people. So I am not addressing the politicians so much there. You know, they're a bunch of goddamn crooks.
Yeah, it's a people.
I am addressing the mentality
Yes,
that
yes,
during that the last election, January, it's true. If you like the UPP, the country can mash up because red is bread. Red had the money, they know how to run the economy.
Yeah, right,
Didn't you all just see the Ponzi scheme where Antigua's name was involved in 2009?
No,
Huh?
no.
And the man is in jail for 120 years,
Yeah,
110
some
years,
110
some crazy
probably.
hundreds of
Yeah,
years.
That's right. That's right.
Huh?
For a long
If Stanford was so great,
he will die.
how come none of the other islands embraced him like Antigua did? Yeah, he had some business here and there, but nobody embraced him like
No,
Antigua.
man, no.
Antigua just wrapped themselves around
No,
that
we like-
Ponzi scheme,
we
boy, and
like
then not let go.
We like
No matter
cookies.
what.
It's
And like a pit bull. You know, that's the pit bull can lock your jaw.
Yes, that's it. When he grabbed that,
That the Labour Party, when they
That's
hear a
it.
crook come in the town, then lock them jaw up on that crook.
that's exactly what they the cookishness.
Yeah,
But,
boy.
Yeah, it's sickening. But
Mhm.
I hope that the people are listening. I hope the people will just decide that they have to do something about what's going on.
Yeah.
Because something is needed to be done at this point in time. You see the road that they're taking us. and it's a horrible journey.
Yeah, yeah.
That journey is not a good one, my friend.
I
It's
got you.
totally out of hand. So the people have to do something at this point in time. And we're here every week trying to give you the scoop so that you realize that you have to do something. You know, you run your home, you know how to run a home in order for it to stabilize and be a good home. So you have to know what to do. You know right from wrong. And then that's what we're here, just to tell you the right and to tell you the wrong, and it's more wrong when it comes to those guys. It's just like all wrong. They don't care. They don't give a damn about the people. So,
Yeah, and Eddie, well, I guess this is time where we will discuss the topic, the boat. We're not talking about the love boat. There's no love here.
Mr. Nero, not at all, boy.
Alpha Nero, boy. This is like the
That's the thing.
Titan. This is like Antigua's Titanic.
Can you imagine?
Instead of you sink into the bottom and see Antigua is just going more and more, and they're
That's
sinking into.
Talking
debt.
about that. That's right. And
Let's say it's around $120,000.
economic.
I'm not certain it's the EC or US. I'm not even certain what it is.
I'm not sure. either,
Yeah,
but
120,000, whatever. 120,000, anything is a lot of money.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true.
That's a lot of people that could have got their pensions paid on time.
Yeah, I understand.
But what I'd like to say about that, and I don't even get into specific of who sue what and who sue what. Everybody can, I'll deal with the on the other radio stations or podcasts, deal with the nitty gritty, right? My position has been, and I'm giving them some good advice. Gaston Brown, Cutie Benjamin, Ron Sanders. You all need to get on your knees and pray to the high heavens that Russia does not win that war in the Ukraine. Because God forbid they win and they come looking for their citizens' boat,
Possessions.
which you took away. You can call all the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda and the Royal Defense Force of whatever the hell it is. That ain't not going to save you. Because when you look at it, you remember the United Kingdom, which has one of the best security apparatuses in the world.
So
The Russian agents and them sneak into England, smear. What Skripal is Skripal or it was one of them Russian name people. Two of them, three of them, they knock out now. One, the last one, they knock out he and his daughter. They must have speared on the doorknob or the trash can or something, and they smear up the sun with the Novichok. Right? I would advise, and I'll repeat again, Gaston Brown, Cutie Benjamin, who is the Attorney General, who must have had the legal opinion or the advice
yes, it's
and
his
saw what
opinion.
their legal opinion from the QCs or the King
right.
KCs and whatever else they call themselves they have the authority and the legal jurisdiction
yeah.
to sell the Russian man boat.
Can you imagine?
And Ron Sanders, he's the one who went and got the thing. I would just suggest that they get on their knees as often as possible and go pray to their God and Savior
That
to
Ukraine,
make sure that
Ukraine holds out.
Ukraine hold up and that they can preserve your life a little longer. Because the way them they blow the foot, the man was an ally, you know. Up to June, the man, what name Prigozhin, the man that blew up he was an ally of theirs up to June now.
Okay, then,
By the
okay.
time July hit and he say, he bust to a to them and tell them, I mismanage this country
He's a dead
and
man.
I bomb some of my soldiers and then we move from Rostov and Dan and we gonna
He's a dead man.
Moscow for go deal with thing.
He's a dead man.
Hey, the minute he stepped in the direction of Moscow, he was a dead man. He should just call
Dead man,
Straffy
man.
or whoever the hell over the Barnes
Oh,
up on
boy,
Dan.
help us, boy. Don't see
Barn
that, see that
Skinsky
man.
or Ron
That man.
Skinsky and get his tombstone whatever words he wanted on it
That's
and
right.
decide his plot where he want to go rest eternally
That's right.
because
Very well spot.
2 months later to the day them blow you out of the sky what is by a missile or them put a bomb on the
One
plane
way or the next.
then take he out
He
clean.
was no more.
You don't mess with these sort of people. They have a different mentality, a different idea of the worth of a human's life.
Yeah.
That was one of their allies, just 2 months.
I remember.
I think it's a silly idea for us to go and sell this boat.
Very much so.
And no, I'm saying this is just the way even the Americans who are pushing the Western powers in general to seize these Russian oligarchs' assets. The problem I have with it, and I have a degree in government and politics, and when you train in government and politics, they talk about the great philosophers and political scientists, and there's a man in there, John Locke. And John Locke is where the American founding fathers poached or stole or borrowed the whole idea of the inalienable rights of the citizen. To liberty, to life, liberty, and happiness.
That's right.
Now, it just so happened that a man about 50 years before, or 100 years, I can't remember exactly when John Locke, he's born prior to 1776. He had in his book that the state is supposed to protect a person so that they can enjoy life,
Very much so.
liberty, and property.
That's right.
Property is identifiable. He's saying that you should be able to acquire things, to consume things, and so you're supposed to honor your rights to your property. The Americans didn't say that. They went a little ambiguous with happiness. Now, what is happiness is relative to whoever, but that is where it comes from. The importance of property, somebody's property, right? That is what the Constitution is really. Happiness, you have your house and you want to live in your house for you, or whatever. If you're renting it, it's yours for the tenant, the period of the rental.
That's right.
You understand? You have the right to happiness, to enjoy these properties. But you're telling me now, knowing that where all some of the drafting of the alien rights came from, that you can seize the assets, not of a state. If you say that you're in war with Germany and you saw German assets, or you war with Iran or Iraq, you seize their assets. You're not seizing the Russian assets, You're seizing the personal property of a citizen of Russia. You're not even saying that you're seizing the property of these oligarchs who are directly involved in the war. They are providing ammunitions to the troops, frontline troops. They are feeding the troops. This man, from what I saw, made his money, some of his money at least. I don't know the man, maybe even other bogus. From what I saw, just Googling the man, he made his money in fertilizer. Right? So you're wondering, why are you seizing this man's boat? Because it is private property. Don't you have to, at the end of the day, show that this man was actively involved in a war? Can you just say that he's associated because he's a Russian with the state and he has a $30 billion? Therefore, we can seize his assets and sell the assets because nobody coming. Why would you come and claim a boat when the world is on your tail in the West and want to really probably put you in bars if you came to claim a boat? Why would you do that?
That's right. That's right.
So, at the end of the day, what I'm saying, right? My legal training, I do believe that the Russian oligarchs have a good argument to get back their property, not state assets. I do believe that the case that they have in selling their boats, that the Russians will be successful, whenever that is. What I call this whole area, Nedwell, is legal chaos. Gaston Brown administration has gone to stick his head where it should not have. They have created legal chaos because these sort of cases, 10, 15 years, right? You're paying $120 a month, where it's ECR US a month to maintain the boat. These cases, you know what's going to happen? Let me tell you the thing. It's like Miss Karad's case and so on, right? 10, 15 years go by, you're going to be spending millions of dollars that you don't have. You're going to be having legal teams. Some of the parties may die because of the length of time.
Sure.
Life is not promised to anybody tomorrow. Some of the lawyers who represent them may pass away. Some of the lawyers may be proven to be ineffective or not getting anywhere. The clients may get frustrated and change lawyers. This is what is most likely will happen in this case. But at the end of the day, I believe that the oligarchs have a very good ground to get back what is theirs. And more so if they can show that they were not involved in any of these crimes against humanity, war crimes or whatever else the West is saying. But you do notice that George W. Bush, who went into Iraq, he's fine. He's up and running. He didn't do anything wrong. He's all right. He's not a war criminal. Nobody sees free land down at Texas. He's all right. They don't worry about that. The hypocrisy reigns supreme.
That's how they operate, right? They do what they want to do. And nobody hold them accountable. You see? This is the whole thing. But you see, my question is, after all this commotion with the boat, and it probably was finally decided that the person who was going to purchase it are not going to purchase it anymore. They're not interested anymore. why are you still holding on to the boat rather than send it to the territory where the government is saying, well, look, we have the right to hold and what, which will be the Virgin Islands, the closest.
Puerto Rico also.
Puerto
yeah,
Rico,
yeah, yeah.
the closest.
You see,
Right.
you hear them. Somebody has been
just-
telling me they were on Point FM when they talk about, you see hurricane coming out Category 3. That is what Gaston was trying to avoid.
Yes, I heard that.
So the only way to avoid having that damn boat in the harbor is to go sell something that don't belong to you.
I understand.
If we've taken a position of neutrality, we're saying that we don't want to be involved in any European war.
That's
So we
right.
need it for Russia or we need it for
Neither.
Ukraine.
Neither.
I don't mind the position taken of Antigua and Barbuda, although I do favor the underdog, the Ukrainians.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it is a very prudent position to take. Right? You take that position, but then you're going to side with the West in what they said about the boat, that you seize the boat, and since nobody come to claim the boat because of what they have, the stigma they have put on, they've marked those properties
Exactly.
as some criminal act,
That's
as
right.
coming in the ring.
Uh-huh.
You go and go along with them, and then now ask them to release the boats out so that you can sell it. Listen, instead of going through all of that, and you see the dollar signs in the eyes, because they think they're getting easy money, right?
Yeah.
Have the skipper of the boat tell you, look, that direction, we
Just
we
say
pay you
it,
to get the boat down to U.S. Virgin Islands or to Puerto Rico, and the Americans can do whatever they want to. That is a way, if you said there was a hurricane season coming, I believe that one would have gone through already,
That's right.
and it would have been successful.
And at the same time, you try to get back the money that you said.
Of
that you put
course.
into it.
Of course.
That's all it
of
is.
course.
Yeah.
What you want to do is just to make even.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
whatever money you spend in
But
maintenance
you want it back.
and for the
You
crew
want
or
that back.
whatever, or whoever
Just-
go drive the boat or sail the boat over them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even if you couldn't get it back, at the end of the day, that's still cheaper
Than
than what is coming for the next 10 to
That's right,
15
the
years, you know.
continuous-
You make out ahead by just writing off that debt
Right.
as
That's
it is, you
right.
know,
That's
for the
right.
last
Okay,
year.
this is-
Because
that's
you're
right.
writing off debt for 1 year, but you're going to impose another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I understand. Just imagine.
You know what's going to happen? Antigua better be careful that war doesn't end. That's another solution. People might die, whether it is the claimants, the parties, or the lawyers, or whoever. But the war might come to an end.
Yeah,
Russia and the West may cozy up to each other.
yeah, probably.
Because
yeah,
we are well aware that during the American Revolutionary War of 1776, that even before the hostilities were finished, they were already having negotiations to start commercial trade amongst one another
Okay.
to benefit both nations, right? And we saw that even though they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
That's right.
right? The Americans were in there and they were having more Nissan and Toyota cars in America than the
you're right.
Americans' Becks.
That's true.
You understand? So
That's
what I
true.
am saying is, I am going to play second grade dunciness politics, but you might be surprised at all the hostilities. The man now do
right.
trade, and then both Russia and the West come to us Antigua. Why do it the man boat?
Left them in the cold. Left them right in, for real. You know? No, but that's a possibility. yeah.
But that is how they do business.
Strong possibility.
Hey,
Remember?
look on even
When I
Vietnam,
was
Vietnam
there-
put some licks on them.
You remember?
Then tight,
That's
then
right.
tight. They
Oh,
talk
yes,
about
yes.
Vietnam is one of the bulwarks against the People's Republic of China.
Huh?
The bulwark against them and the Philippines, and
Yeah.
they arming them, and they're having more economical trade and military
Right.
drills with the Vietnamese now. The man of them who done shot them down and tear them up in
Yeah,
the rice paddy fields.
Show all kind of equipment
All
overboard.
may bomb, may
Look,
job the
wait,
may
wait,
bomb on them and them.
Oh, what is
Huh?
this? I was in the army that time, yeah.
Yeah, I remember telling me, man. He was one of them. He's in the Marines, man. So
And
I
most
am.
of
I would just say that I would have loved Antigua to have been. They say fools rushing where angels fear to tread.
That's right, that's
Well, the
right.
fools, the prime minister and the other fools, Cutie Benjamin and Ron Sanders, the fools rushing where any sensible-minded government would have
Will
feared to
never-
tread.
never enter.
You understand?
Yep.
That man has 30 billion US dollars. He has more money than the state of Antigua and Barbuda and all the supposed poor boss oligarchs in Antigua. Add up all the so-called wealthy people in Antigua and the state of Antigua and the amount of money you all have,
Don't come
and they aren't even have half the wealth
Don't even come
of
close.
Mr. Wavi name for the boat.
Don't come close.
you're all a highly outclassed. You're going against a heavyweight and you're a featherweight. How you think you're going to end up Who you putting your money on?
They're not thinking about that, man.
I don't care
You see-
how much thumps you can show as a featherweight, you know.
This
How much,
goes to show you that these guys don't think about strategy.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they realize that they're outmatched.
Mhm.
They
You're
don't
outmatched, you're
realize
outclassed, you're not in that category.
Oh,
You may be the
man.
top dog in Antigua or whatever you call yourself.
Oh, whatever.
But you no coming in this year. This the dance is not your dance.
That's right. That's right.
Stick to the Caribbean region and
Very
so on.
much so.
Stick
Very
to
much
the trying to even being successful, try to bully the Barbarians. Even them they take a bite out it good and proper.
It's just so ridiculous, you know. But
Yeah. Sad.
it's good to know we can come here every week and
Yeah, just let off and let
Just
people know
outside
that we're going to be here. If anybody want to call in, and listen, I don't even care if anybody calling right now, right? Those who can call 462-0383 if you want to let
to be a part of the
air
whole thing.
your grievances and concerns.
Mhm.
If you don't want to, if you're scared, if
If
you're
you
worried about
understand.
you keeping your job, or you don't
Mhm.
want to, you might have to go and get a duty free. I understand. It's all right. We don't mind. It's all good. It's just the mentality that we're trying to
Very
fix.
much so. Very
Huh?
much so.
Why should
Very
I be
much
fear
so.
of a politician in a democracy? Because he can do what to me?
That's the damn thing you're supposed
Hmm?
to be able to, as long as you live within the law. You're living within the law. What
Yeah.
can he do to me?
So you.
Yeah, the people fearful. They're fearful of what you see the victimization that they have seen over the years, though ridiculous victimization that people allow to happen, you know, and make some people feel very, very fearful of even contributing to making the country a better place. They want a part of that place.
This lady Tiana Abimbola, whatever that was, Nigerian, she just
Okay.
come and say something, 41 minutes ago, how talking about Half Moon Bay, he's saying that someone put up 50 million for Half Moon Bay. You said so? I don't remember saying that.
No.
I don't know about who put up any money for Half Moon
No,
Bay,
nobody put
but
up.
did nothing and wants to know where the money went. Well, they couldn't do anything because Half Moon Bay does not belong to the government. Oh? You, Miss Bimbola and Bimbola, whatever your name be, right? The government acquired the land. It was not their land. They acquired it and can't pay the woman for the land. The law, the international law is that when you compulsory take away a person's land, you don't pay them what you think the land is worth. You pay them what is the value of the land on the open market. That is how it's supposed to be paid. What happened? They cash the checks that they asked couldn't cash. Whatever the expression?
Yeah,
Something
right
like
to
that.
check that.
They wrote a check that they asked couldn't cash. They have not successive administration in Antigua have not been able to pay the woman. They've said they made $1 billion, over $1 billion in CIP. They didn't pay off the debt. They got $50 million, which we're talking about.
That's
You
right.
got, that must be the 50
Yeah, that's
billion.
what she's talking
She
about.
don't get it.
No.
Miss Bimbola, or whatever your name is, if that is really your name, the government, there was a president of the Ukraine who had money in Antigua in about 2015, 2016. The government seized the money because it was ill-gotten gains. And they were able to hold on to that. They had a bumper crop that year of money in the treasury.
Okay.
Instead of paying off Miss Carrad with the $50 million, they went and spent it willy-nilly.
Squandered it probably.
You understand now? So
That's
just
the
check
15
yourself,
million.
because we didn't even know what you're talking about. I never said
That's
nothing
it,
about
no,
no.
but
I
we
don't know
got
what
money
you're talking
to
about.
pay Miss Carrad.
Yeah.
That they should have done that. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
So,
It is what it
yeah,
is. It
yeah,
is what it
sure
is, man.
Yeah. It's a sickening scenario. We are just going through this nonsense time and time again.
Mhm.
But I just do hope that the people remember, and next time remember to do something for themselves, because we're not doing it at all. They're not. You know, how can this government be back in power
Mhm.
when they pay, over the years they were paying people pension of a little over $200 and all that.
$200 a month, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and then another government come and say that's inhumane.
Mhm.
No, that's out of hand, and take you up to.
They raised about 900, right? Yeah,
Just
yeah,
about
yeah.
$900.
Mhm.
And you're telling me you put back the people that had you in
They gave it
poverty.
$200.
Yeah, had you in poverty. It just goes to show something is wrong with these people.
Yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah.
is wrong. You can't do that. The person who is looking out for you is who you're supposed to look out for. And the person is saying you can't have $200, go supermarket, pay light, electricity, and what, and whatever else you have to pay. That cannot
That is the
work.
mentality. It's the mentality we're dealing
That's
with. We're not
right.
going to Gaston this, a cutie that,
Right.
Robin that. I don't want those sort of discussions.
No, you cannot
because
involve yourself in that,
it
yeah.
is a democratic country.
Sure is.
And you've had
Supposed
sufficient
to
time
be.
to see where they are taking this country.
That's right.
You understand?
right.
So I can't go down, oh, they did this and they did
That's
that
right.
and they
If
did
you
that.
don't
And
want
whatever,
to-
even if they bribe somebody or they bribe people and so on, people are supposed to take the money and know better.
That's not even
You're
bad
talking
like
about
that.
your future. You're talking about on the island where you live and where your family lives, and you're going to leave it up to them.
Yeah, man.
What they're saying and what they've been doing for the last 10 years
Yeah,
has been
indicates-
just a tragedy for this
indicates that
country.
You shouldn't leave it up to them.
And
You
even if the
can't leave
next
it up
guy
to
come
them.
in there and do nonsense, it's time to wheel them out too.
That's right. This is how it works.
We not going, oh, I like you, know.
Yeah.
I'm have a vote because I like you. I like the way he put on his shirt, the way he, I like the show the shoes, how you roll up your
Doesn't work
jeans
like-
up on the foot. I don't
Doesn't
care about that.
work- No, it can't work like
I
that.
like you, but you're just
not
doing
the job.
nonsense,
Yep,
period.
you're not doing the job.
You said
Gotta
this,
go.
but you haven't done it.
No.
You understand?
No,
So,
no.
Bimbola, you just go and listen to what we said and go and go Google Miss Karad and Google the president of Ukraine about 2015 who had $50 million in Antigua and Barbuda. That is the bumper crop that I am talking about, sir. I'm not certain what you think you know or believe you know, but just check yourself, please. I don't have time for no nonsense. I'm not even tolerating any nonsense in this forum, right? We're not going to cut you off, but we'll put some word in your backside if you come with any foolishness.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true. Yeah,
Bimbola,
you have to-
Bimbola, Tina, whatever your name is, call in on the program. Call us and tell us how this, in your mind,
That's
how
right.
what you heard me say about
Yeah, and we
the
can
government. The
discuss.
government don't own the land. They come. That is the problem. Instead of leaving it with her because she was not developing the property, it had suffered under the hurricanes in the late 90s, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
And instead of doing something, they said, okay, then we're going to compulsory take it away.
That's right.
Have no problem with that. But if you know you didn't have the money, leave well enough alone. That's all I'm saying in that matter. You understand? That is another legal chaos matter. How many years have gone by? I see the woman in court, the woman wave to me because she see me in court all the time. That's another one. The IHI matter. These matters go on and on and on and reach nowhere.
I gather there's some interest that goes on with this money as well.
Hmm?
The money, interest.
Of course.
It-
You see what happened? The boat is not worth 67 million. That is what they sold it. It basically sold it at half the price. It's about 100. I think when it came out, the Alpha knew about 2018, if I'm not mistaken, it was worth 180 million US dollars.
Okay,
So
yeah.
with wear and tear and value and so on and the
120,
thing,
130.
it's 120,
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah.
So they basically knock off 60,
Yeah, 60.
cut it in half,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a little under half.
That's right.
And the situation is that the lady who is suing them is not $67 million she'll be suing them. She'll be suing them for the value of the boat, not the auction price. So you will be indebted to the tune of 120 or thereabouts, right? Plus the interest or the years that you have the woman boat, plus the cost. And the part that I am interested as a lawyer to see how they're going to tabulate is the uniqueness of the boat, because you plead the particulars why that is. You can't say, oh, they have in law, they say to mitigate your losses. Oh, you're rich, you can go and get another boat. The situation is that is a unique boat where the pool,
Yeah,
the
swimming
pool on
pool.
the retract, transforms over to the helipad.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
first boat, from what I've learned, is the
Right,
first
right.
boat that has that on it.
That's
So
right.
that is the uniqueness of the boat, where they may want to say, I could buy another boat that has it now, but this is the first
that's
boat that
right.
had that innovation,
Right.
where we want to brag about we had the first
Oh,
boat.
yes,
So
yes.
all of that and depriving somebody of how many years of that,
they're
I
bragging
believe there will
rights.
be more
They're
interest.
bragging rights.
That as long as you plead those particulars, you should get more interest than the ordinary
Very much so.
interests that are
Yeah.
applied, the
That's right.
costs and so on. You understand? So that is what I'd like the Antiguan
Yeah.
people to know, that
Very much
you went in thought you're going to get 67, but you may be ending up paying 120 plus interest
You
and cost.
understand? Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
that's
it's not looking good for Antigua and Barbuda overall. What can you say, Neddy?
and they're still getting deeper and deeper into it. This is the opportunity to just say, look, hey, take your stuff out my harbor, give me my money that I've already put into this thing. to
Even if
maintenance.
not, I mean, hear nobody answer about give me thing. All right then, just go about it. Just go to get. As I say in the old Western, get. Just get.
Yeah, boy, this is just so crazy. But no, we like to be in things.
Yeah, and they just
Yeah, we
love
like
to
to
be
be-
put
yeah,
their
we like to be
head
in
right up where it don't belong.
Yep, we like
You
to
know,
be in things.
Diggy and Bobby will be back every week from here on out. You know,
Yep.
I missed the program. It's been
Very much
fun.
so. Yeah.
It's been fun to hear your thoughts.
Just,
We would like more people to call in though to see if they agree with what we're saying or if they just say we're chatting absolute rubbish. But we'll leave that for the brave at heart. I mean, eventually, beside Andy, I don't know where Andy is today. I don't know.
Probably working.
Yeah, he probably working today, man. But when he get the chance, hopefully next week, God permit, God willing, we'll hear from him and whosoever else wants to hear what we have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you said, wait, it's ICR. I remember is UN, right? UN, you have the final word, right? Yeah. I think all I'd like to say is just like I'd like to thank the people who during our hiatus were inquiring about the program, to Nedwell and to myself. The people who even in June, July, even some of the Labour Party people come and tell me, hey, they like Neddy more than me. I know why I come and bash them. I bash them personally. I know them personally. You know, and they just say, yeah, we like your show, but we prefer Nedwell. I'd like to thank even them because at least they're listening. And the fact that they're listening, you know, they're not listening because it's entertainment. It's something that they're hearing that it's ringing close to home.
And it's factual.
That's right.
So,
So I'd like to thank everybody who inquired about us and were wondering if we were going to come back on, in particular Renee. I don't see her on today, but I know if you're after work or whatever, she'll be tuning in to get a dose of Who's on the Go Mike podcast. As we said this term, boy, I haven't even got around to updating the podcast. So we do intend to have guests on our program, more so on the live streaming. They'll be there also, more than physically in the studio. But just me and Ned are talking week in, week out. I mean, even I get bored of hearing my own voice. That's why you really haven't heard me on too many talk shows and all. I think you have to step back and listen sometimes to other people. And don't let people get tired of hearing your voice. So I step back off of the mainstream media for our own reasons. But I feel that an hour once a week is not too much that I could get sick of my own voice or even the public. If you do, please let me know. Shouldn't, but you never know. But yeah, thank you so much for it's encouraging. I hear people today saying, hey, what happened to Go Mike? Where's the Go Mike? I said, yeah, well, we're on today. We haven't forgotten, you know. I came in last week Thursday. I had to get my boys and them settled up in school and all that stuff. So I didn't really feel to take that on. That's a little bit taking too much on last week, Saturday. And then me and Ned will only linked up, is yesterday?
The day before.
When we linked up, I drove around and came back down for you. So that was Thursday. I said, hey, Neddy, boom, boom, boom. I said, yeah, okay, we're good to go. I said, no problem. So we're here, and we're just glad to be back. And we intend to grow our audience. We intend to bring in more guests on our program. As you said, the program is called Who's on the Go My program. It's not like Who's on the Go My program and you say, oh, it's via Nedwell. This program was geared to hosting it with somebody else and they would really be the host of the program to share an area or topic with us, and we will be on the panel and asking questions and learning. It's not really for me and my Nedwell, but we're still a young podcast. It will grow. The technology will master it. The idea is really to have people come in and to discuss a topic, and they will be hosting the program, not me and Nedwell. But just bear with us, man. You know, everything takes time. In due time. Yeah, so that is it for me. Until next week, God permit. We'll sign off with Ned when Nedwell says his closing speech.
I just want to thank all you listeners and viewers for being with us today. And next week we should be here at 2 o'clock sharp.
2 o'clock sharp. That is the plan.
That's 2 o'clock
That is the aim. Every week is the aim.
Absolutely. Yeah, to share our views and to tell you what's going on so you can keep abreast of what's happening and you will be doing the right thing. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for being with us and tune in again next week, 2 o'clock.
Over and out.
Over and out.
Babylon,